Hello and welcome to KMTV, your roundup of what's going on in Kent on Friday, July the 24th. Investigations are continuing after a teenager's body was found on the roof of a Eurotunnel train at Folkestone. Joanna Earle has more details.
Well, the young man's body was found on a shuttle train early yesterday morning. It's thought he was a migrant who tried to board one of the carriages in Calais to try to reach the UK. It comes as a national newspaper released footage filmed by a worker of 40 illegal migrants riding on a carriage of an empty freight train as it arrives at the Folkestone terminal.
Meanwhile, a new plan to deal with Operation Stack could be brought in as early as next week, following a major meeting involving Kent MPs. The measures would see the M20 kept open in both directions by creating a contraflow system on the London-bound carriageway. It says lorries are being parked between junctions 8 and 11 of the coastbound motorway, with police warning Stack could be in place until at least Sunday.
I think it's been more frequent recently. Absolutely, there's no question about that. But the problem has been about for years, and the problem has not been solved by the powers that be. Now I hope that we've got powers that be to agree to try and solve the problem.
A man and a woman are being treated in hospital after being stabbed in Chatham. Graham Stothard reports.
Now, the stabbing happened here yesterday afternoon at around 3 o'clock, just opposite the tramways junction in this pavement behind me. I spoke to an eyewitness who said he saw a man holding his throat. It looked like he'd been stabbed there, and there was a woman with injuries also. Police had to close part of the road and an air ambulance were called. Their official spokesman said that 2 people ended up in hospital, thankfully with no life-threatening injuries. This is Graham Stothard for KMTV in Chatham.
In other news, a man who tried to kill his wife and then shot himself dead has been affected by the steroids he was taking for cancer. An inquest has ruled 71-year-old Peter Hart from Kennington took his own life, and the Kent and Canterbury hospital where he'd been treated was too quick to discharge him. And a pub in Who that had monkeys and other exotic animals in its garden has been forced to rope them off. The council's ordered the changes at the Fen Bell Inn because the owner doesn't have a zoo licence to display the rescued animals. And finally, thrill seekers in Margate have got their first glimpse of the next round of new attractions on offer at Dreamland. Jem Collins went to take a look.
From the top of Dreamland's big wheel, it certainly seems as if the park is all about the rides. But that's not all the vintage seaside attraction has to offer. It was just over a month ago that Dreamland finally reopened its doors to the public after a decade-long hiatus. And today it opened its doors again for another preview, this time for its summer shows, including the circus and diving. With everything from aerial acts to rope walking, the team here are hoping that their increased offering will help to draw in yet more crowds to one of the country's original seaside pleasure parks. The preview did also see the launch of a number of new rides, but there was one notable exception, with the scenic railway still not yet ready for its first passengers.
Not yet, but they have been running the chassis. We've been having action on the scenic railway, so it's getting exciting, and we just have to watch this space. But as soon as we know anything, we will be letting people know through our website, social media, etc.
The park also remained tight-lipped about the number of visitors they've welcomed over the past month, but did say it was in the tens of thousands. Those who were here, though, seemed to be enjoying their day.
Yeah, I loved it. Very, very, very good. So good.
We've been a couple of times already. So. Yeah, we came on the opening day, and then we brought, well, my godson, your nephew, came down a week later. He loved it.
Motorbikes and the caterpillar and the circus, and
so mainly everything we've been on.
Yeah. This is Jem Collins at Dreamland in Margate for KMTV.
There's more local news on KMFM, and you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook, but that's it from KMTV.